This case takes place in the United Kingdom on the 17th of May, 2022. Anna Jędrzejkowiak was a 21-year-old woman who was born in Poland. Her relatives would describe her as a smart, tenacious, and ambitious woman who was also caring, kind, and thoughtful. She loved to travel and was a gifted musician. She had dreams of learning Japanese and to live in the country one day. Anna moved from Poland to the UK sometime around 2019 or 2020. The sources said different things, but on her LinkedIn profile, she started a job in Bristol in 2019 and January of 2021. Anna began talking to a 30-year-old man online. This man's name was Dennis. The two dated for around a year. However, Anna ended the relationship. It's reported that Anna was rather fearful of him, as he could on occasion become quite violent. She told Dennis that she wanted to move to London to study, and told him it was over. Anna then relocated to London to study sound engineering at the University of West London. However, Dennis did not want Anna to leave him. He did not accept the breakup, and instead he tried to manipulate Anna into staying with him. He would threaten that if she were to go through with the breakup, he would take his own life. But Anna had made up her mind, and she was living a good life in London. She worked at a coffee shop and a Mexican restaurant to support herself through her education, and after some time passed, she began a close relationship with one of her colleagues at the Mexican restaurant. The man's name was Jack, and the two began dating. Things were going well for the two, but Dennis still refused to accept the breakup and would send all manner of threatening messages to Anna. In one ominous message, he told Anna, "We will be together no matter what, I will find you," and he grew ever more obsessed with Anna, pressuring her to get back with him. Anna was concerned for Dennis's well-being, and she did for a hell line to give Dennis a welfare check. As more time passed, Dennis spiraled and became intensely bitter towards Honor. And now we arrived to the 17th of May, 2022. On this day, Anna finished a shift at the restaurant she worked at. She left with a man she was seeing at the restaurant at around 11:40 p.m., and the two began walking home together. They can be seen on CCTV walking from multiple angles, but little did they know they were being stalked. The CCTV also captures a masked man following them into an alleyway. Anna and Jack turned into the alleyway when all of a sudden the masked man ran towards Anna and began to viciously and ferociously attack her with a knife. He stabbed Anna over 40 times. Jack tried his best to stop the masked man from stabbing Anna, but he was unsuccessful. The man was in a frenzied state and was attacking at great speed. After this disturbing attack, the man fled. Jack quickly called the emergency services, who soon arrived on the scene, but it was clear that Anna had already succumbed to her injuries. Her body was taken to the coroner's, where the extent of her injuries came to light. Meanwhile, the police began tracking down the man responsible, and it wouldn't take long for them to find him. It turned out that Anna's attacker had stabbed her repeatedly in the neck, head, and abdomen. It was clear that whoever had done this had made an attempt to remove her head, but they were unsuccessful 22 hours after the brutal death of Anna. An arrest was made. Her ex-boyfriend Dennis detectives pieced together Dennis's movements using CCTV footage, starting with his arrival by coach on the 15th of May in London. He had traveled over 150 miles from his home in Newport. When he got to London, he began to track down Anna and found the restaurant she was working at. But on the 15th, Anna was not working that evening, and Dennis could be seen pacing back and forth in front of the restaurant with his hood up and his face covered by a scarf. This disturbing behavior would later be found on CCTV. That same evening, mobile phone records showed that Dennis had connected to telephone masts near Anna's home, and on the 17th of May, Anna arrived for her restaurant shift just before 5 p.m., with Dennis arriving shortly after, presumably to peek through the windows of the restaurant to see if she was working that night at 8 p.m. on the night of the murder. Dennis can be seen buying a knife for £5 from her shop and was captured on CCTV again, pacing back and forth near Anna's place of work, waiting for her to finish her shift. Then Anna left with Jack, the man she was seeing at around 11:40 p.m., and shortly afterwards they can be seen being followed by Dennis, who was wearing a balaclava. Then Anna was brutally killed. The police had gathered a huge amount of evidence to prove that Dennis was the one responsible for the crime. Both CCTV and mobile phone records placed Dennis near the scene of the murder, And then the murder weapon was found in Round Pond in Gunsbury Park on the 18th of May. Also found in the pond were items including 2 mobile phones belonging to Anna. And Dennis and a photo frame with a picture of them together. The knife used in the attack had blood stains, which were later matched to Dennis and Anna. It turned out that Dennis had attacked Anna in such a frenzy that the knife had slipped out of his hand and he had accidentally sliced his finger open and went to hospital to have it treated. He told the staff that a pit bull had attacked him, and that was the reason for the gash on his finger. He was referred to a different unit a couple of hours later, and there he gave staff a fake name and told them he was a sword performer and his trick had gone wrong. He was seen on CCTV in the hospital wearing the same clothes he had attacked Anine after his arrest. Dennis showed absolutely no remorse for what he had done. Further investigations also brought to light Dennis's obsessive nature and revealed that he was a man who was in debt and without a job. When the police looked inside where Dennis was living, they found his room to be infested with maggots, and he was living in rather grim conditions. Police also began looking through Dennis's phone, and on his phone they found a disturbing voice note which was recorded only a couple of days before he killed Anna. In the recording, he can be heard saying, "Find her, kill her, stab her, monster." The police tried their best to speak to Dennis and get the reasons for why he felt the need to kill her in such a brutal way, but refused to give any statement as to why he committed the crime. Although it's somewhat easy as to speculate why he did this, and the theory is he murdered his ex in cold blood because he was jealous of her moving on. Essentially, if he couldn't have her, nobody could. The investigators were disturbed by the brutal nature of the attack, and they assumed that Dennis could be suffering from a number of mental health issues that caused him to act in such a way. Dennis was evaluated to determine if there was any reason at all for the level of violence inflicted. However, the results came back and Dennis was found to be sound of mind. The trial would soon begin, but Dennis refused to attend. He refused to leave his cell, and so the trial went on without him. He pleaded not guilty to the murder, something that Anna's family found to be a clear indicator of his lack of remorse. Her family referred to him as a coward, and someone who couldn't have the slightest bit of decency to own up to what he did and look them in the eyes. The evidence was presented to the court, which was overwhelming at the trial. Dennis provided no written statement to the court, no rebuttal, and no real defense. The prosecution were able to show the CCTV footage of Dennis purchasing the knife and stalking an inn the days before the murder. His actions showed a high level of premeditation and intent. Jack, who had been walking with Anna when she suffered the gruesome attack, told the court that he had been left with horrific memories that can never be erased, and went on to say it was dark and cruel. "I will never unsee what he did to her." Jack has said that seeing the killing of Anna has left him with significant emotional problems, such as post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. The jury heard the evidence, and they found Dennis guilty of murder. The sentencing took place not long after, and Dennis was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 29 years. He again refused to attend court. But it's reported that he showed no remorse when he was told of this news. The judge overseeing the case described the attack as ferocious and savage. He said there is no mitigation here. There is no evidence of a mental disorder or disability. Anna's sister was pregnant when she was killed and spoke of her heartbreak that her son will never meet his Auntie Anna. The case of Anna is incredibly airy. To see her walking home with Jack completely unaware that her ex was stalking her is just beyond chilling. This is the kind of case that could happen to anyone.